Yeah. Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Wild Earth Safari this afternoon. And we're already sitting with a pair of elephants. We've just arrived here, and they're sparring. There's another elephant or two just down on the western edge of the open area. We're here on Philemon's Dip. I want to try and get to see these two boys. I don't think they're very serious. One of them is a one-tusk bull. I don't think he's the one-tusker. Way too small to have been the one-tusker we saw. Yeah, it's not a different one. Both have very tatty ears. I don't know who they are yet. I'm going to just see if it maybe come out again. Well, my name is Mark. Cat's on camera with me. Craig back in final control. And well, there are a bunch of animals here on the open area we can have a look at. I've just passed a very interesting thing that I want to try and show you in a few minutes. Something quite remarkable. So boys, no more playing. Okay, let me move down a little bit. Oops, slipped. One on the right goading him. Turn around, chicken. So incredible with all the dust. And we're going to try and keep up with them for a little bit. Oh, they seem to have separated a little bit now. Time to feed. He's got a very distinctive big tear out of his ear. His left ear, very big V shape. And this other boy has got I seem to somehow, it rings a bell, the big shape out of his ear. It's quite a big tear. He wants to play some more. Now I would imagine that these two boys have grown up together. The one Tusker is a little bit older, standing a bit taller, and a bit broader, head's a bit bigger. But, he's being greeted now. The other bull's putting his trunk in his mouth. It's a friendly gesture, and important in elephant society to convey peace and convey good emotions, non-threatening. It involves a lot of trust. I believe, I've never seen it, but I believe every now and then an angry elephant will bite down on that trunk if it's not open to socializing. I'm going to just we'll stop there for a minute. But there you can see that very distinct shape in his ear, his left ear. He's got a V-notch out of his right ear. This is the one Tusker. I think that other bull's going down towards the water. I'm going to follow him. Just see if this bull doesn't mind the car rolling without the engine. So far so good. I don't really want to go behind him. Not really wise to do that. Elephants have a blind spot behind them, and they're not too fond of strange creatures being where they can't see them. He looks back at me every now and then just to see where I am. I think I'm going to try and keep up with the other bull. He's heading down into Philemon's Dip where that water is. He might splash a bit on himself. He's coming. One tusk. Come along. We're going to have some fun. in the water. Somebody's pulled one of the branches down from this false marula. It was such a lovely big false marula. Still is quite big, but it's now a little bit smaller. There's a warthog down the bottom. And the piglet. He's heading off, probably going to that mud wallow that's deep in the bush here. This is wild dog tracks from a few days ago. I wonder if it's the same dogs that were here. They were originally at Chalapan. Might have come through here. Interesting. So, Mrs. Piglet, are you going to let us see you and your children? No. 2 and 1, 2. Where's number 3? There, number 3. Well, we could go in there. They might be going into that pond that's in the bush here. Go and see. This is another elephant. Or maybe that's the one with the V. Yeah, the one with the V in his ear. No, he's gone down into the drainage line already. No such luck. Funny, we had 2 bulls sparring at that pond a little while ago. Okay, we're going to leave the boys now. They're all in the stick stuff. Both of them are, not all. We'll go and look for that other elephant that I saw. It might be the very big one, Tusker. He's not in the greatest frame of mind at the moment, being in must. And there's something else. We can see there's a giraffe up there. There was other warthog. Let's go and see that lot of people, and then we'll come back down this way. We might find them on Weaver's Nest by then. don't know if this is going to work, but there's something that, as I said, it's quite interesting here. Where was it? Oh, there it is. I don't know if you can get that wasp nest, Kat. Some time ago I showed you a clay ball in a tree. There. Oh, she's gone. The mud wasp, oh, she's coming back again. Now, this is a masonry wasp, busy building a nest. Very much the same as the one that was in my room that I was filming. Was as in past tense. Came back from leaving, it had been cleaned off my wall. Now what's very interesting here is there's a metallic green wasp hovering around her. She's trying to chase it away. There it is. That metallic green wasp is known as a cuckoo wasp. And funny enough, Craig showed me a picture of one that he found. Very bright green one. They actually, wasp is, the larva is going to hatch only after the mud wasp larva has hatched and eaten whatever it is, maybe a caterpillar that has been stuffed inside that one of those chambers. Well, the mud wasp was trying her hardest to chase off the cuckoo wasp, but the cuckoo wasp, driven by instinct, is unmovable. Not much phases it. Body armor that the bigger wasp can't get into to sting it. It's a little bit more agile in the air. Much the same way as the smaller birds are more agile than the eagles and how they harass the eagles. But now that hard work by the masonry wasp or mud wasp is now being parasitized by cuckoo wasp. Appropriate name, cuckoo wasp, doing exactly what the cuckoo bird does. Only cuckoo doesn't eat the chicks of a host bird. Quite interesting. And I see an elephant. Another one. Cuckoo wasp battling to drill into the piece of clay. Okay, let's go see what this elephant is up to and who it is. Another youngster. Oh, there's some more. Maybe this is a family group. And this little boy is just, I wonder. I won't drive over his marulas. He's a youngster. Maybe about 10 or so. 10 or 12 maybe. I wonder if he's not the same youngster we saw this morning. No, he's much younger, I think. Bless you. Hello, little boy. Could be. Could be the same one. Dunno. They were up on Cheetah Cut Line. Quite easy for them to have made their way this way already by now. Coffee crate. Seems to be working. Let me move a little, cat. He's getting a little awkward as he moves towards the back of the vehicle. In fact, what I think we'll do is just going to go and see who this is, if this is a family group, some youngsters just to the west of us. There it goes. Moving on to that. Looks like another big bull, perhaps. Oh, I can smell his musk from here. Yeah, that's the big one, Tusker. Who we're going to keep a respectable distance to. I don't need to goad him. Hello, Sandy. Wants to know what age male and female elephants reach sexual maturity. Sandy, one thing you can tell them, one thing about elephants is that almost everything about their lives is on a par with us humans. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? If I go a little bit more forward, no, it's not going to work. You can just see that youngster way up in the distance. I thought maybe we'd be able to line the two up. If there are bushes that are going to be in the way now. Or maybe not. Actually, it might just work. So, Sandy, well, young cows can actually start going through puberty at about 9, I think the earliest, 9 or 10. Peaking at around 12, average, or not peaking, but averaging around 12 years old. A little bit older for the bulls, they tend to go through maturity at about 14. But they're not allowed to mate until they're well into their late 20s, perhaps. In fact, the matriarchs will select the larger, more striking bulls, the bigger bulls. Oh, we didn't quite get that youngster in the background. Maybe we still can. If he turns a little bit. Come to the side of the marula tree. Oh man. Yeah, I can see him there and just through the trees. Bulls will start, well, I'd say averaging around 14 years of age for the bulls. Sorry, I'm not keeping track of what I'm saying. I'm busy trying to think of a way to film this that would look really good. But that is quite nice. This big bull moving past the little one in the background. We'll try and keep up with him. Oh, take it out of gear first, Mark. Sorry, I have to check on something. I accidentally went into a golden orb web and I want to drive over her. I wouldn't sleep tonight I'm not going to sleep because I broke such a beautiful web too, but saved most of the silk, and the spider will often reconsume that silk. It is after all protein. She's able to turn it into silk again. Oh. What? Oh, I didn't see that. Didn't see either. Just thinking of spider. Right, now. I'm going to go and see that giraffe, see if he's still there. Pet. Pat wants to know what my favorite animal is and why. Difficult. Ooh, squirrel. Difficult because nature is my favorite. I mean, I love everything. I think elephants perhaps have this slightly higher status. Why? Because they're just so intriguing, they're just so amazing, they're just so majestic. And I should have opened up on that giraffe. Now he's gone. No, there he is. Is he? No. It's a tree trunk. The wildebeest, the back. What did you do with the giraffe, boys and girls? The big bull. Our resident wildebeest bull. Oh, there's the giraffe. We'll go around Zoe's Road and come back the other little road on the western edge and see the giraffe. I want to count the babies, the wildebeest babies, calves. 1, 2. Oh, you see, we're not going to be able to get a total because there are a bunch of them lying down in the grasses further on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 over here. I don't know how many are there. Impala. Bless you again. I think we're missing 1 or 2 calves. I saw them all the other morning. Or was it evening? And there were only 5. Now we know one was taken below the dam wall. One of the days it was raining. Could have been one of the leopards. I'm sure it was one of the leopards. Oh, big stretch. Hello, Gnu. You feel like catching up with your family? Gnu. Gave out the very typical Gnu call, calling its mum. You might see them when we get around to where the giraffe is. I only got 4. You got some impala here on the right. And the one ram is a ram we're getting to know quite well. One I called Bo. Very strange horns. And now you're all going to run across the road, are you? His left horn is growing at a weird angle out of the side of his head instead of up. That is potentially lethal in the rutting season because with his head down it's pointing straight at his opponent. He was trying to spar with one of these other rams, but they weren't interested. I think they don't want to spar with him because of that. Bo? Why do I call him Bo? Because he's a ram. You get it now. It's corny, isn't it?
Made my bag.
Good. Okay, thanks boys and girls. We're gonna go around the corner.
Yeah, I can copy you.
Now, there was a mother piglet, or a mother pig and a piglet. Yeah, a few minutes ago. Oh no, it must be quite a while ago by now. And they didn't flinch when we came past them, and knowing that there was a giraffe, I went to the giraffe, and then I saw the elephants. So I decided to open with the elephants, hoping to come back this way, but they've gone. Looking at the dust. Oh, wait. What a fearless young squirrel. Still in the road next to me. Up the tree. The young squirrel didn't even get out of the road. In the base of the marula tree. Calling Mark. Okay, squirrel's gone. There's a youngster, a little one. Getting distracted by the radio a little bit. It's a lovely day today. Weather-wise, no wind. A little bit cloudy earlier. Right. Next stop, let's see if we can find this big male giraffe. Where? Oh, there. Oh, the rest of the herd of the impala are here. Very well spread out. Just, oh, look, these ladies are eating marula fruits. Looks like they're chewing gum. The way they move their mouth around. They can't really move the fruit in their mouth with their tongue. I don't know, for some reason. So they just throw their head into all different angles. This is a leopard's dream. A herd of impala like this, spread out very wide over a semi-bush area. A leopard can sneak up on a small group of these impala very easily. Are we feeling the effects of temperature change already? Seasons changing. Rather chilly in the morning this morning, and I expect the weather might warm up again. But these changes in temperature have just as much effect on the animals as they do on us humans. And there's always a potential for illness. Marula fruits, on the other hand, might just be that little immune system booster with the amount of vitamin C in the marula fruit. Perfect timing for the fruit to be ripening now and the weather changing. Animals getting doses of vitamin C. Let's see, I've still got, there I can see the giraffe through the trees. Let's go and say hello to him. Just see his head. Zebra too. Wow, what a lovely afternoon with mixed game out just on the western edge of quarantine, the open area. Afternoon, Squire. I'm not too concerned with us. Very often you'll find giraffe quite amicable when they're in open ground and they can see around them. It's only when they, well, there's a tendency to be a little bit more skittish when they're in thicker bush. With good reason, I suppose, since they can't really see very much of what's happening on the ground. They keep a greater distance between themselves and any potential threat. Change that safety zone, that comfort zone. And not often you get to see a giraffe licking his own armpit. That's not, can't be very comfortable. Okay, let's move around this big this big clump of large fruited bush willow. Hello, zebra. Lovely dark coat, really handsome zebra. As soon as we start watching an animal, let's move behind the bush. Okay. That's the way you want to play it. Zebra, wildebeest, giraffe. Almost get them all in one shot. And get a lovely big giraffe bull with a lovely big zebra stallion. Quintessentially African. Something moving in the grass here. And there. Mongoose perhaps? Can you see anything, Kat? There's a lot of movement in there. Sound like it could be dwarf mongoose. can't see. It could be a colony of dwarf mongoose. There's some very high-pitched squeaking. It could probably be some youngsters that are being naughty and not listening to the babysitter. Oh, I know this mare. If you have a look carefully at one of her rear stripes, I've seen her on Philemon's cutline a while ago. On that one stripe that goes from just in front of her hind leg around to the rump, there's a very fine line of, oh, it's going into shadow now, but there's a very fine line of little dots. You'll see as she moves into the sun again. Like the, you know those, like it's perforated, but not quite. Like you have in a magazine when you have a thing where it says cut along the dotted line. She's got that on her spots, and it doesn't quite come out so well. Okay, next is the wildebeest. A little. Everybody's obscured now. See the rest of the wildebeest herb as we go forward. Everybody's moving out into the open for the evening. They're all going to be on the open area tonight. Safety mostly. Where did that big tall animal go? Didn't see. I was too busy looking for mongoose. Dwarf mongoose, about the size of one half of one hoof of a giraffe. Where did the giraffe go? Did you see? We're going to go and see if we can catch up with. From coming? Did you find Ingrid? Probably that thing. Sorry, I had to take my earpiece out there. From Virginia, who was that? And what? I can't hear you. Why does a giraffe have spots? Well, there's a belief that, oh, not a belief, but there's a very strong evidence that the dark and light creates a varied albedo effect of the giraffe that helps with air currents for one, but the amount of heat that it absorbs and reflects. The albedo effect, even the planet, we can talk about the albedo effect. In fact, part of the whole global warming is because of the albedo effect, whereby more damaging ultraviolet radiation is being, is being reflected back into the atmosphere, and then all the carboniferous gases that have accumulated in our atmosphere that are not being absorbed because of deforestation, which is causing the increase in the albedo effect, is trapping all of these gases, and they're not being recycled into oxygen and ozone and things. And it's like one of this big, huge vicious cycle. But anyways, that's not what we're on about. We're on about a giraffe's spots and a zebra's stripes. What is interesting is that this huge bull is now with this little boy. And obviously this little boy is no threat to this big bull, and as cranky as he is, he doesn't seem to be bothered much by the presence of this younger bull. In fact, the younger bull is encouraged to spend time with these old bulls. They need to learn a lot about elephant bull ways, elephant bull society, and learning about sparring and all sorts of things. Hello, boys. Is your headache gone, One Tusk? If you had a headache, you had something, because you weren't being friendly to anybody yesterday, I believe.
I'm going to do two sessions on the
Yeah, I'm going to make my way over there now. We got to go. We got elephant, but I think we've got to go and see something else. Especially in this light, while we've got it. So, boys, be good. Oh, very, very strong smell of must from that big bull. Very, how can I describe it? Somewhat sweaty, somewhat pungent. Leaving the lock of 2 Middelden Close on quarantine open lock. 2 Middelden Close. There we go. On quarantine. Also Dlamiti, Mangwa, Konkoni. Well, they're all on the western side. Copy, thanks. Hello, wee pet. Why was the giraffe alone and how long will he stay there? Your guess is as good as mine, Pat. Giraffe bull to be alone, there's nothing unusual about that. How long he will stay there? 5 minutes, 5 hours, absolutely no way of knowing. He's not going to stay in the same place. He's going to be browsing, so he's going to be moving around a lot. We saw him this morning when I closed down. Was it? No, where did we see him? Was it where the elephants were? Yes. Yes. Just before we had to close down. And another thing I meant to mention to you is that we saw those elephants rushing across the road down into the drainage line. Very excited, a lot of trumpeting, a lot of noise. And of course we had to shut down because the camera had lost control because of batteries and things. And about 2 minutes later, as I was about to leave, this huge bull, massive bull, came down into the drainage line, and he had a pretty bad gash on his forehead. And I was thinking maybe he had been fighting with this one tusker, because the one tusker had come from the other side of the dam too. And well, he had only one thing on his mind, and that was to catch up to those cows, and I think that's why they were all so upset. Must have been elephant drinking or doing something with that water, because it's gone down considerably. He ignored us. He didn't pay us any attention. He just walked straight past us. And continued on after those other elephants, the cows and calves. I think they were just upset with him because he was in must and probably being unpleasant, probably not being respectful. There you are, Mrs. Pig and Piglets. Where are your other two? No, other one. I just see one of your last year's kids and 3 of this year's children, piglets. We have to get past you, I'm afraid. I've got something I want to show some people and Kat. See, we're gonna. Okay, we've got at a time when I want to get somewhere, we have a warthog standing in the road. Sorry, Mrs. Warthog. You're just as important as everybody else. Wow, we've got a bit of light. Hello, Impala. Franklin. Kudu as well. See, everything's out. Life is back to normal. Probably because they were all tucked in on this morning because it was so cold for the first time. Making hay while the sun shines.
Can be good.
There we go. Beautiful long view through the trees. We might see it now when we get to Zoe's Road Junction. Through to Bushbuck Ridge and beyond the mountains. Must remember to come up here. Oh, baby elephant tracks. They must be up Zoe's Road somewhere. So much in such a small place this afternoon. Like a kid in a candy shop. Now, I wonder if we can get there from here. I can see lots of dust on Triple M. Vehicles coming to the sighting. Graham, come in. Coming off from Zoe's Junction, and I pull in when I get visual. Loot. Try and get across this drainage line now. too difficult. Doesn't look too wet. Although the mud could be dry on the top. Seems to be fine. And the spider's there. I'll go around that way. What's making this so bouncy are elephant tracks when the mud was wet and their feet sinking quite deep into the mud, and now it's dry and it's very uneven. Garden orb. Sorry, Mrs. Orb. Just up ahead. 2 more yards. Which question unlock with Ingwe? Okay. Right ahead of us. Karula. And a cub. One of the babies. You got it from there, cat. And it should go forward. But I'm gonna have to stop there for now. Oh, that is just too gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. One of the lilies. There you go, cat. Make you feel better. Cleaning mom, getting a clean itself. Just going to try and, now that they're a little bit relaxed, just try and bend a little bit forward. See the other cub just coming in. Wait till other cubs with mom. There we go, it's going to be fine. Other one's coming out for some loving. Such a proud mother. She's so beautiful. It's an area where we lost her. The first time I saw her, she was coming in here, so she's obviously using this area quite a bit. Wonderful surprise for you. For those of you seeing this for the first time, welcome to Wild Earth Safari, and one of the main reasons why we're here is to watch a leopard raise her 2 cubs. Hello, Karula. She's burning me with her eyes. Hello, Abes. Mampimba na yan na wattle. What? Hmm?
Karula. Somewhere. You see the female leopard, right? Right here in the road. See that small grass? Oh, the baby is coming. So she takes the cubs. Sit down. Just sit down, guys. And come slowly. Because the guy's taking a picture on the safari video. And it's going right live. So, you see the baby?
Come back, little ones. You just see one of the little ones. Both of them actually. They're just behind some bushes at the moment. As soon as Abel moves, I think we're also going to try and move, just get a last glimpse of these little ones. Oh, that is just too precious. I guess I don't need to anymore. Pounced on a bush. Made its first kill. It killed a bush. Ukunatlele kula. Sun has already set. It set when we were still approaching here, and getting dark fairly quickly. She's listening to some Franklin settling down. after us. Totally unconcerned that we're here. I've had experiences with leopard where they grew up with the vehicles. As soon as they had cubs, they hated the vehicles. She's just called them. And one coming out. I think she wants to start moving. It's getting dark. Hyena going to be out. She's probably going to need to get them somewhere safe for the night. Looking at trees, perhaps, looking at her options. Come this way, girl. She's gonna suckle. Come to me, little one. Come and talk to me. Come and chew on my toes. This is too gorgeous. They're now starting to get used to the cars enough to feel confident enough. And I must admit, this is largely due to Karula's relaxed atmosphere, or the relaxed attitude. Come on, feeling my toes. Come and play with them. Stalking me. Tail twitch. Just before a leopard strikes, that little tail twitches like that. Can hold it in my hand. Okay, you're getting too close. Your mother's gonna get cross with me. Other little ones coming, creeping closer. Oh, I'm sorry. I've got to keep track of the little one. I was in your way, everybody. I'm sorry about that. But I've never in my life had a little leopard cub come that close. all the leopards that I've seen in all the years and in all the game reserves, with having a mama leopard letting her little one come to me like that, it's just too precious. I think its siblings about to pounce on it. As I can see a game happening. Are you gonna come now? Come, I need to get a facial shot of you too. Rub heads with mum. This is just too precious. Why are we using flash and we can't use the spotlight? Well, the spotlight is a constant light flash, no different to the lightning, the electrical storms that we have. It can be a lot brighter. The pupil closes and dilates again very quickly. Spotlight is just too bright a light, and it's constant, and it's getting dark, and well, that would close the pupil too much for too long. But it is getting dark, and it is getting time to leave them be. We've been very, very lucky, and in a fantastic amount of things we've seen this afternoon, and even though we've been out for only a short time. Promises for tomorrow, perhaps. So this is Mark from Djuma Game Reserve in South Africa, part of the Sabi Sand, part of the Greater Kruger National Park. Cat on camera, bidding you all farewell. Thanks for joining me, thanks for questions. Love you lot. Bye for now. And bye Karula, and bye bye little ones. Affirmative.